I do feel like you just got to be creative and get a little bizarre with it at times if you really want to get it done. Because if I'm going to do something, I want to be all in on it.
You were drafted in the 23rd round of the 2018 draft. You weren't in the top 30 at all, prospect-wise. And not until 2021 were you actually considered a top prospect. And then in 2022, you became the number one prospect with the Angels. Only 20 players or so selected in that round since 2010, since that MLB draft, have actually made it to the big leagues. Dude, this is exactly why I want you on Keep Swinging. You are the man. You set goals, you prepare, and you control the controllables. And that's what this is about. So, Logan O'Hoppe, thank you so much for hopping on Keep Swinging, brother.
No problem. I appreciate having me. I didn't know any of those numbers. So um, obviously, except the draft year and all that stuff. But that's interesting to know. So thank you for educating me.
All right, man. Well, that's what this is all about. You're going to get educated. I'm going to get educated. Everybody listening is definitely going to learn a little something about you, get inspired and motivated by your story. Because, dude, you are the man. And we have a bunch of mutual connections. And one of them I want to bring up, Nicky Cass. He seems like,
Yes.
or you seem like you're the baseball version of him. You guys look alike. I know you got a twin sister, but I think you guys could be related.
Yeah. Oh, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. Yeah, Nick's one of my best friends, and yeah, I got to know him in 2021, and yeah, we got close pretty quick, man, and yeah, he's one of my best friends now, and talk to him every day.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when you guys linked up down at the Jersey Shore in 2021. I was like, damn, like I see so many similarities. I mean, he's a little bit more short and stockier. Nicky Cass, you got those like monster calves. But yeah, I could definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Which of his videos is one of your favorites?
The ones that he got from ideas of hanging out with me and my buddies back home too. So those ones are funnier than the others. And then I like the ones where he says different ways to say whatever word it is, and then he goes through the motions on how to say it because I could relate to those a little bit. So I think those are his funnier ones.
That's right. And you could definitely relate to it because you got that Long Island family in the background. He does a lot of his no impressions and just all these other ones, Pasquale, all these guys. And dude, you probably have one of the most fun traditions of any family that I've ever come across when it comes to the Christmas time.
Yes.
Christmas Adam, dude.
Yeah, so I mean, that's been going on as long as I can remember, but yeah, we do it the day before Christmas Eve, and because in the Bible, Adam came before Eve, obviously, so that's why we call it Christmas Adam, and we just get around and cook, man, and enjoy each other and have a pretty good time. So that's one of my favorite days of the year, and love it, and gonna keep it rolling.
Dude, is that a Long Island thing? I've been going to Long Island, Mineola for Christmas Eve since I can remember, probably since like I was a kid.
Yeah.
You go there and you stay till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, damn, when is grandma and grandpa going to bed? Like everybody's up, everybody's cooking, the fish are coming out left and right. It's just like one huge party. It's literally the best day of the year. But you do it 2 times in a row, so that's even better.
We do, and the older I get, the more I hear about people doing something like it and staying up late. So it may be a Long Island thing, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been doing it for quite a while, and like I said before, it's a pretty special day, and I wish more people got to experience a Christmas Adam like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, if you ever come up with any sort of foundation or some sort of party down the road, you can maybe take a thing or two from it. You could let it go from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m.
No doubt. No, that's a good idea. I'll keep that. Keep that. One.
So when is the chicken parm coming out that night, or are you guys just keeping it to the fish? I know you're a big chicken parm guy that you like to make.
I am. I like anything. There's actually chicken cutlets prepped in my kitchen right now, so we're gonna be cooking them after this. Ironically enough, but no, I mean it's a mixed bag of whatever, and all of it's good, and whatever it is, it's a lot of it, which is my kind of style. So it changes every year, and obviously you have your staple dishes. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of seafood, but for the most part, it's whatever the heart desires that upcoming week.
Dude, I love it. And from everything that I know and that I've read about you, videos that I've watched, and I'm sure a lot of people listening watching this too, is that you're just such a good family guy. You know, like you got a twin sister, you love your parents. Your parents seem like they're great, energetic, just a ton of love and a ton of energy. So that really trickled down to you. Throwing it back down to when you were a kid, you started playing baseball. Like your earliest memories is when you were around 2 years old. So, dude, you've been doing this since you can remember.
Yes, yeah, and anyone that knows my parents knows that both my sister and I are so lucky, and yeah, we're a tight knit little group, man. We've been through some stuff, and um, yeah, and we love hard, and I talk to them every day, and those people are my rock, and they can get me through anything, and they understand me better than anybody's understood me before, and and always had the right answers without telling me what I want to hear. I know a lot of times, I know I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I surround myself with people um, that just have the right answers. I did it when I was younger. I'm getting better as I'm older, but yeah, my parents hold me accountable and keep me in line, even if it's not what I want to hear. And um, yeah, I'm just so lucky to have them. And then as far as my sister goes, talking about keeping you accountable, man, she keeps me accountable. She'll humble you real quick and let you know the truth. And I love her so much for that, and respect all of them, more than anybody else. So I can't say enough. We'll be here all night if I talk about my family, but yeah, I love them.
I could see your sister having that kind of edge or like attitude to her. I saw her rocking the Ryan Reeves jersey at the Ranger games that you guys went to,
That is
even though
a
he's not on the
great
team anymore.
context
Still,
for the person.
yeah.
Yeah, she loves him, and yeah, that describes her personality pretty well.
Awesome. And one of the awesome things about your story too, and about your parents is that now being a dad, I kind of take a liking to this a little bit more since I kind of understand it, even though the dude is so small right now. But your parents, they never forced you to play a sport. They never forced you to play a position, but catching, which is your position, which is what you got you here and got us here right now together, is has been the position that you've been playing since you were 9 years old. So this has been something that you've been doing pretty much your entire life, which what was it about the catcher position that you really loved?
Yeah, I fell in love with it. Well, first, my parents never made me do anything like you said before, but they suggested it to me because when I was younger, I loved baseball, but and in the late innings, I had a tough time staying locked in, and then hop behind the plate and was immediately engaged right away, and fell in love with it. I fell in love with how much control I had over the game, and how creative you can get in that position. And that's not to knock other positions, because I know that the game overall is hard, and people work on their positions, a ton. But I love the control you had and the ability to impact the game, not just at the plate when you're swinging it, but behind it too. So that love hasn't diminished at all in however many years I've been doing it.
Yeah, never really thought about that because growing up, if you're playing little league, it's like you're in the outfield, and sometimes, like you said, towards the later innings, you kind of get uninterested. You start playing with the grass, like throwing stuff, whatever. But at that catcher position, you're literally locked in the entire time.
Yeah, every pitch. And um, as I got older, it's only gotten more and more detailed, and there's been more and more information to follow and study and get myself wrapped up in. So I love every bit of it.
It's crazy to think too that not even all that long ago, back in what was it, 2013, that you're down in Arizona where you are right now, and you met Buster Posey, which I'm sure as a little kid that probably had a pretty big impact on you.
Absolutely, I still remember it like it was yesterday. And yeah, he wrote me a little note that we still have in the house. And um, yeah, that was a cooler moment for sure, because I did and still do look up to him. And that was definitely a pretty big staple in my childhood.
What did the note say? I couldn't make it out on Twitter.
It just said thanks for making the trip out. Um, all the best. Pretty generic, but I'm just happy he took the time to do that, and um, made not only my day but my trip and year, and kind of kept that spark under me that I wanted to catch in the big leagues.
Yeah, I love that smile on your face holding up the note too. It's just like you're just so happy, and I'm sure knowing how you are right now, you're extremely polite and just a good fan at the time when you did have that interaction. But have you gotten a chance to show him that just yet?
I haven't met him again, actually. So hopefully,
Oh wow.
I'll get to meet him.
Dude, that's one of the best parts about baseball is that it's such a small world. Whether you're playing with somebody, playing against somebody, or grew up watching them, and then you get a chance to eventually meet them. So once that does happen, you might have to try to find that jersey and do a little reenactment picture or photo, but with Buster in it.
Yeah, I've thought about moments like that a lot, not just with him, but other players that I looked up to growing up. So can only hope our paths will cross. But yeah, I'm grateful that it's even a thought in my head that that's a possibility.
Dude, yeah, big time, big time. All right, so now you're talking about your sister before, and we're jumping ahead of high school. You're in high school, and you said this before that you didn't really have too big of a selection when it comes to choosing which college that you want to go to. Obviously, there's ECU, which your dad and your uncle went to. Neither of them played baseball there, but that was the one school that you really want to go to. But yeah, when it comes to baseball and college and being in that high school level, you were never that dude on people's charts or anything like that, and you just worked hard and you knew where you want to go, obviously with the ECU connection. But yeah, just kind of like being under the radar in Long Island as a catcher. I mean, did you have any idea that you definitely wanted to play big league baseball and all that other stuff that comes with it. Because again, like when you're not on as many people's radars, when you're not going to all the different tournaments and showcases where all the scouts are, it's tough, you know. But talent will be found, and you were found. So, but maybe not at that moment. But I guess kind of like, what was your mindset back then?
Yeah, on draft day, I was set on school, and ECU was my dream school. And obviously, like you mentioned before, you had the connections and the uncles that have gone there, all that. And yeah, and then when my name got picked, a switch flipped in my head. That's the best way I could describe it, and it put things in perspective. And I thought I wanted to go to ECU since I was about 10 years old. That's when I started to really invest my time in it, and then and look up where the school was and fall in love with it. But above that, I always wanted to play baseball as a job. Honestly, I didn't even think about the big leagues on draft day. I just thought about being a baseball player, year round and doing it as a job. And that dream I wanted my whole life. And that was since I was born, I think. And that's what I really think I was put on this planet to do. So when it put things in perspective, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make, which was obviously passing up on ECU. But I'm pretty happy with my decision, man. A lot of things happened after that made me realize that it was the right choice, and it's going all right so far. So I'm happy with the choice I made.
Dude, amazing. And when you did make that choice, when you had that realization moment, you were poolside, which I've done a lot of thinking. I'm sure a lot of people listening and watching this have done a lot of thinking by the water, whether it's the beach, it could even be a lake or the pool, but you made that decision poolside. What was the energies that you were feeling at that moment?
Yeah, and for the people listening, poolside may seem like I was in a lounge chair, but meanwhile I was sitting in a spot with my hands on my head, not knowing what to do. So, um, yeah, so I wanted to clear that up
Sweating
quick,
for
that I was
completely
pretty
different
stressed.
reasons.
Exactly, exactly. But no, in all seriousness, it just flipped in my head, and I'm happy I was out there in that spot because I did have some friends and family over, but I was outside with my parents um, and a few family members and a couple of coaches that were really close to me um, and were really really there with me and are still part of my circle now. And I'm happy I had them around me, and it wasn't too crowded when I made the choice. But um, yeah, I'm just really happy with how it all panned out.
Did you jump in after?
I did not. I did not. No, I was shaking. I didn't
I'm
even know
doing
what
it.
was going
I
on. I
just
stayed,
did
I stayed
dive
with the
in.
blur. But I'm surprised my dad didn't. But no, I think everyone stayed out of the pool that day.
And one thing that I definitely want to bring up, because again, like keep swinging, the whole mentality. If you just keep on going, and starting this journey. You've said this yourself before. You knew that you weren't ready, but sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to start towards your goal when you're not ready. You're never going to be perfectly ready. Like just none of that stuff. It's like, had you not done that, like you said, we wouldn't be here today. You've made a lot of great decisions since then, but just that one decision, and yeah, you quote unquote weren't ready, but you did it, and I think that says a ton about you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I wasn't ready. And everything that I've done, that in my head is a big deal to me. I always feel like there's a part of me that isn't ready. Whether it's choosing to sign or whether it's stuff that I can't even control or have a choice, like stepping into the box in my first professional at bat. Or um, even debuting. Like I always feel like what the hell am I doing here? I'm not ready for this. But now I understand as I get older that if I have that feeling in my head, then I'm right where I need to be, and that everything is where it should be. And um, yeah, that's something that when I was younger, I was curious about. I was like, why am I feeling this way? But now I learned that it's natural, and that it's all a good sign. So I kind of look for that feeling now, believe it or not, even though it's very uncomfortable. But it's kind of a checkpoint to that makes me realize that I'm exactly where I need to be.
Dude, yeah, just that mindset alone. Because again, like so many people are afraid to start something or to do something, or they're worried about what other people will say, or you start second guessing yourself. But in this case, you just went with it, and again, everything's turned out so well so far. And that's one of the things about you mindset wise that I love most, is just because you've said it wasn't just that day. There's been so many other decisions where you weren't ready to do something, but then you hopped right in. And then the second thing that I love about you too, when there's a bunch of different things, but I got three things right here when it comes to mindset. Because a lot of people at home listening to this and watching this, they could do the same thing with whatever they're trying to do. So the second one I think is huge, especially now when it comes to social media and everybody looking at lists and rankings and stuff like that. But you only focus on controlling the controllables, and within that, one of the things is prospects lists. You don't care about them. You've never cared about them because you're not the one. You're not the one making them. you know, and a lot of people,
Yeah.
they kind of get too caught up with looking at like, say, like a Forbes under 30, or I don't know, if you're in high school, who's on the honor roll, like all this other stuff, but you focus on the controllables, and that's a huge reason for your success right now.
Well, thank you. And to your point, like I said, I wasn't looking at those lists because I wasn't on them. And so when if I did see my name on a list in this past couple of years, it was like, all right, like that means the same to me as if I wasn't on it. And I feel like that's stuff that is just so insignificant. Yeah, it's cool to look at, but it's just so insignificant. And I was telling this to somebody back on Long Island because conversation came up about what we would have done when we were younger, and if we would have gone to this or gone to that, and joined this team, whatever it was. And I made a point to him. I said, people forget that you need to play well. Like it doesn't matter where you play, who you play for, who you know. Like you need to play well. If you don't play well, then you have no shot. If you're playing well and then stuff's not happening, all right, then maybe start looking into where. But like you got to be very real with yourself. And if you're not playing well, then it's not going to work out. So that would be my advice for anyone coming up is just put yourself in a position to play well. Don't just play because you can play anywhere, but you need to play well in order to move on.
That was awesome advice. And one of the things that you said that I think is awesome too is that like, and I wish more people had this approach too, is that those top 30 rankings, which I read at the beginning of this, just to show that it doesn't matter what you're ranked because you're going to get to your ultimate goal as long as you work hard and are persistent. But it's like, if I wasn't on them before, I don't care if I'm on them now. You know, it doesn't matter. Like all those like little accolades, like they're great and they should be celebrated, and you should be celebrating the small wins. But when it comes to that, especially when it's pretty much a very opinionated type thing, then like, all right, let people have their opinions. It's not going to affect you or how you go about your business.
Hmm. Absolutely. I've never been in the box where I'm in my head thinking I have a better shot because I'm on this list, or I'm not better off because I'm not on this list. So that hasn't crossed my mind once. So if it doesn't cross my mind then it shouldn't ever. And yeah, I feel like there's much better things you can put your focus towards.
As long as Baseball America doesn't go back into 2022 and bump you down to number two after listening to this, we'll be good. No, 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 but see,
Hey,
I think
if
about
they
that.
could screw it.
I think about that too every time. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that award that I won. Then I'm like, man, I wonder if anybody's listening to this. But yeah, no, like all seriousness, it's one of the best things about you and your character traits. And another thing, before we get into the minor league careers, you're a goal setter. Like you are a huge goal setter. That's extremely important to not just say them or talk about them or to daydream about goals that you want to accomplish and reach, but actually write them down. So guys, in January of 2019, this is not long after he got drafted in 2018, he wrote down on a wall at the gym that he works out that he wanted to make a specific ball club by the end of the season. And you did. You made the Williamsport club, and you had your mom cross out the goal that you wrote down on the wall in the gym, and you got a nice video of it just as that kind of like final satisfaction thing. But you set a goal and you reached it, and then you got to celebrate. Like, when did you start doing that type of stuff?
Well, two parts to that. I was always a goal setter, and whether that was in high school or wherever. And I can't remember any specific moment that made me start doing that. Luckily, when I started working with my trainer back home, Adam Belding, at his gym, he has everyone write their goals up on the med ball wall that we obviously throw med balls into. But that's where I wrote that, and that's where you had seen that. But I love that because I love writing things down and putting it on paper and putting it out there in the world, even if it's just for me to know. Um, and then the second part of that is I started journaling and writing everything down. When I got drafted in 18, our mental strength coach with the Phillies at the time, who's now at the Rangers, she encouraged that and then suggested it to me and taught me how, even though there's not a right or wrong way to do it. But been doing it ever since, and it's really helped me. I do it every morning, and if anyone's read Matthew McConaughey's book, I think he describes it really well. He says it's like writing contracts with yourself. So that's why I love doing it. Holds me accountable. So many good things come out of it, and I really enjoy it.
Dude, goals and journals. So I do one of them, but I think I got to try to start the journaling. Just even if it's something as small as like trying to jot down something, a great memory that maybe a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road that you may forget, but at that moment was just something special. But dude, that's awesome. I love to hear that. And And again, I think that's one of the secrets to your success this entire time is that you're aware of all this stuff. You're aware of your journey, the way that you develop, how you've been as a human on and off the baseball field. That says so many things about you.
I
Dude, I'm
appreciate
fired
that.
up.
Thank you.
Let's go, baby.
I don't want to
I
talk
might
up here
start
like I have
tonight.
it all. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I think I'm going to
But
start tonight after this. You're going to be page one.
no doubt. Hey, just let the mind go, man. Whatever goes on that paper, it's not judging you, and no one else can see it. So let it flow.
Dude, you know what I did with a bunch of big leaguers back in 2014, and I'll share this now because if somebody were to start the same project, it would take them like at least 8 years or 9 years.
All right.
But
I'm excited to hear it.
get this. So a ton of players and guys who I know in baseball who I interviewed, after the interview, I had them write down what they're doing right now, like what they thought about the interview, and then what they want to be doing in 15 years. After they wrote the letter, we folded it on the spot and put it into an envelope. So I have zero idea what it says. They probably forgot what it says. Like nobody's going to remember what type of letter that they wrote unless they have a very good memory. But the goal is that in 15 years, because I'm huge on goal setting too, and it's like you set these goals for 5 years, you set these goals for 10 years. Those are the normal numbers. But I'm like, why not 15? Let's try 15 out, because usually 15 is after your playing career. The goal for this is to one day sit down with Todd Frazier, all these guys, Byron Buxton, Francisco Lindor, and kind of have a follow-up and open up the letter together and read the letter and see if they're doing what they thought that they'd be doing at that moment 15 years ago when they wrote it down. You like that?
That's really interesting, man. Yeah, let me know whenever that story comes about, because I will be glued to the screen to watch that. That's really cool.
We might have to do and we'll start a new one. 15 years, dude. That's
yeah.
That's like one of the fun things about setting goals. That like then it kind of reminds you, like, hey, I'm staying in this for the long run, which is exactly what you're doing with baseball. So that the goal in the journaling is awesome.
Yes, thank you. It's getting to a cool point now, because I started doing it a while ago. So now I'm starting to see how you grow and develop. So to your point, yeah, it's pretty good.
And the learning mindset too that you have, that you got a lot from it from Pat Borders, one of your former coaches. He was a big leaguer at one point. Just having that learning mindset, you're just a sponge. You're taking anything in that you can, whether it's from a player, a coach, anybody around you, your friends, like you said earlier. As time goes by, you're starting to surround yourself with a closer circle of people who benefit off of each other, just trying to get better. So that learning mindset is another kind of superpower of yours too.
Yeah, thank you. And like I was saying before, talking about all the other stuff, I don't want to be up here sounding like I have it figured out, because I have a good understanding that I don't, and I know I never will, but I'm gonna try, and it's really helped me. And I've noticed that the guys that are closed minded and do think that they have all the answers don't last too long. So that's something I'm conscious of, and I don't think I have to force that at all. I think that's naturally how I like to be. But I'm happy I am, man, because like you said, I feel like it's helped me a lot, and it's just added tools in the tool belt. I think even if I'm not using something that I've learned, I keep it with me and write it down, and hopefully it'll help me down the road. And a lot of things that haven't worked for me in the past are helping me now, and I'm sure that stuff in the future that's not helping me now is going to help me then. So yeah, thank you for that, and I think it definitely helps.
Oh, big time. I mean, I was just talking to Jose Cuas about this the other night, because he eventually made it to the big leagues by 2022, and his journey was just insane. The amount of times that he got signed, released, and then he won the award that acknowledged the perseverance and consistency that he has by Major League Baseball during the offseason. And it's like, in order to get to the highest level, or at least try to mold who you are, like you always want to be yourself. You never want to replicate what somebody else is doing, but like yourself, and what he did is you take bits from everybody, and it's almost like you're building your own project, whether it was a JT Real Mutos or somebody who you're playing with right now, like all these different people and all these different things, even guys who you're teammates with throughout the minors. It's like this one Pat Borders. You're building this huge project, and it's yourself.
Yes, 100%. And I couldn't agree with that more. And once I learned to take different pieces from people, it definitely opened my mind to new things. And also I noticed that it helped me help others a little bit more, because then I knew a little bit more about something that I didn't know, a year before, whatever it may be. So I feel like it just helps in all aspects of life.
Your uncle and your dad during COVID in 2020, again, kind of going back to what we were talking about before about controlling the controllables, you couldn't be playing out somewhere, but what you could do, and what you and your uncle had done, was you put a mound in the backyard so that you get your workout. And then it's like so many things are thrown your way, and there's nothing that can stop you. Like you find ways.
Yeah, thank you. Before anything else, thanks to Uncle Dean and Dad for making that happen. But no, I'm a big believer in, man, like there's always a way. I don't like living with myself if I make an excuse, and I don't care how how, bizarre or out of pocket it has to get. But my brain is super black and white, and certain things just have to get done, and um, and I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I don't like taking no for an answer as far as that goes. Like if I need to get my training done, then it's not negotiable, and it doesn't have to be the ideal situation. But if I get it in, then I'm all right. And um, I do feel like you just got to be creative and get a little bizarre with it at times if you really want to get it done. Because I mean, if I'm gonna do something, I want to be all in on it. So um, yeah, that it's just how my brain works.
Dude, my God, let's go, baby. You got me pumped up. It's like, yeah, dude, work with what you got, make it happen. Don't take no for an answer and just keep on grinding. And fun fact, I actually started my baseball career in the whole like media world and content creation back in 2005 in Lakewood, which now is the Jersey Shore Blue Claws.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was like still in high school. I was like a young dude. You got the chance to go play there in 2021, which was awesome because it was right down the road from where you grew up in Long Island. You hit the first home run in Jersey Shore Blue Claw history, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got a chance to spend some time down there. And why I want to talk about this is because while 2019 was probably one of the best years of your life in terms of like life changing, 2021 for you and your family was also life changing. And you definitely, if I'd imagine after my mom, she's healthy now, but seeing her go through breast cancer and remission, chemotherapy, and everything that goes with it, I'm sure it turned you into a man at a pretty young age.
It did. Yeah, it definitely did. And I was happy I was in Jersey for it because then I could luckily go home on off days or whatever it may be to see dad. But um, yeah, that whole experience was a blessing in disguise, and it taught me a lot about life, and um, really made me not care about little things anymore, which is what I needed at the time, selfishly. So yeah, dad's all good now, and I mean, as you know, like you said with your mom, they're heroes, man. I don't know how they do it and show that strength. So um, yeah, pretty incredible what they both went through.
That's right. So non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's good now. Which
Yes.
man, that's the best news of that you could ever get with anything like that. It's crazy, and like you said, it was awesome that you got to be just a state away and you got a chance to see him. Like you said, it really puts life into perspective. You're not getting whatever over the little things, and I like to have fun and smile a lot and always joke around and stuff. And it may kind of seem like a little crazy at times, but it's not crazy. It's just like I understand this type of stuff, like I understand life is precious and exactly what we're talking about. You just have to make the most of every situation and literally always be smiling, always be happy. And when you were playing at Yankee Stadium during summer camp and you had your at bat, dude, I feel like that's what I would have been like if I were playing baseball, just like happy because like, dude, you're at Yankee Stadium. Of course, it's gonna be the happiest at bat in the world, but I just love that you showed it.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Eric Kratz, the catcher, was making me laugh too. So that was a pretty cool moment, especially at that age. And we all play there again in the future, and maybe I'll keep it in a little bit more, but I'll still be feeling that way inside.
Yeah, I think no matter what, and I don't see you changing just based off of what I know of you, and I don't see you changing at all. And I think that approach, yeah, I think no matter what ballpark you're in, I think you should always take that just because it just shows the love and the joy and the fun that you're having. And like you said, like you can't take little things too seriously. And if you are in situations like that, standing at at the plate at the stadium that you always went to as a kid in your home state, I mean, dude, you got to be saying that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's been a goal of mine, whether it's playing Yankee Stadium in summer camp or being in the big leagues. It's been in my head with most of the decisions, if not all the decisions I've made in my life. So when it happens, like I'm gonna enjoy it, man. And yeah, I'm just grateful that I've had those moments.
So that was kind of a viral moment of yours. And then what's nuts is that back in 2018 is when you were there as a fan. And like you'll tell the story better than I would, but yeah, this blows my mind.
Yeah, it was wild that I was with my best friend even today. His name's Kevin. He just texted me before, but yeah, I was with him. We were in the second deck, and Manny Machado hit a homer and threw my hand up and got it and threw it back. And um, yeah, that was pretty nuts. That was probably or it was the coolest moment I think as a fan at a game. But yeah, it's kind of funny how that came full circle and made that moment even cooler at Yankee Stadium.
Did your hand hurt?
It didn't, and I caught it pretty pure, but I think there was a lot of adrenaline that went with that too. So I actually had I had a game the next day, and I reached back and threw it as hard as I could, and I was like, I know that the game's coming up. I know playoffs are soon, but yeah, I was just hoping and praying that nothing blew out on me, but knock on wood, it didn't, and ended up working out. But yeah, I was pretty nervous when I caught it because I was like, I have to throw it back now, and had to let it eat. But luckily, everything's all in one piece still.
Dude, and that was your draft year too. I'm surprised that like first of all, that's crazy that there's only 2 years difference between you catching that and you being there taking that at bat. That's wild in itself. But yeah, that was your draft year. So your most screen time, or at least whatever, in regards to baseball, because you weren't regarded as a top prospect, was actually probably or could have been that night.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, and yeah, I put it all on the line, but but it worked out.
So going back to just like you having fun and you being a good dude and Jersey Shore, your time there with the Blue Claws. Corey, your man Corey, I was talking to him earlier, and he told me this story that like I just speaks volumes about you as a person. And I got the chills reading it, but he was telling me that it was a 4 o'clock game, and he had plans with his girlfriend to go out to dinner that night, and the game got rained out or whatever, and then he ended up having to stay at the ball field for much longer than you would have thought, like all night, like past midnight, whatever. And because it was rained out, all you guys got a chance to go out and do whatever. But he couldn't go with his girlfriend because he had to cancel because he had to work at the clubhouse. So he said around 11:30, as he's just working, doing all of his like clubby duties, you came in from Brooklyn Square with some pizza for him, and the next day you guys had a day game. So he said, "Here's this top prospect, number one catching prospect, coming back with a piece of pizza for me to eat dinner that night because he knew that I was at the clubhouse all night. Just told me all that I needed to know about him with the day game the next day." And when I heard that, I was like, I kind of get the chills right now, even just saying it. Like, I'm like, I just want to be friends with this dude. You're the man.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even remember that. Corey, I've
You should have journaled it, dude. Come on.
yeah, well, I've been lucky enough to be around a lot of people in the game, but I've met a lot of people and seen how a lot of people work. And I can honestly say that Corey is the hardest working person, player, coach, staff member, clubhouse manager, whoever that I've ever come across, like ever. And Corey, he would sleep in the clubhouse night in and night out. He would sacrifice dates or whatever it was and special time just to make sure we had a clean uniform. And yeah, I always appreciated that because I do believe in having attention to detail, and Corey blew my expectations out of the water, and I know I tend to hold higher ones. So yeah, I have nothing but incredible things to say about Corey, and any team or organization that has him is lucky to have him, and he's not going to get rid of me. I'm going to keep in touch with him for a while. But as far as that story goes, anyone that knows my mom, man, everyone's got to eat and everyone's got to be full. So that's just the house we grew up in. So I heard he was working, and I actually didn't even hear it. I just knew he was still there, and yeah, everyone's got to eat, man. I mean, you can go through a lot of stuff. You know, you can go through a lot of hard life things, and you'll get through. But if you're hungry, man, that's gotta change on the dime. So yeah, just trying to help him out and fill his belly.
Dude, I love that. And he's got a podcast of his own, Cores Up, so everybody definitely go listen to that. Cause yeah, again,
No
he's a
doubt.
good dude. And I told him just exactly as you said, I love seeing his progression too. Him just keep on getting better and rising in what he's doing. And yeah, he's one of the good dudes that you just want to keep yourself surrounded by. Cause as we know, working in baseball, unfortunately, not everybody has that type of. There's a lot of great people there, but when you find somebody like that, it's good to stay close with them. Which another dude who you met down in Jersey too, or at least played with and roomed with, who was a good dude for you, your boy Vito. He was your roommate, and he was also a good shoulder for you to lean on, especially everything that was going on with your dad. But that was another instrumental kind of person or character in your life at that time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without Vito. And yeah, my buddy Kevin, like I said before, and Vito, those are my guys, man. And those are, I mean, luckily I have a group of friends that I consider brothers back home. But yeah, Vito especially, he was right there in it with me, man. And you know, it took me like little things, not little things, but to him they're little, like taking me out to breakfast when I heard the news about dad, or staying up late and just talking about at bats or whatever it may be, the spread, and just letting me get things off my chest and being there for me and expecting nothing in return. And yeah, I'll get emotional if I keep going about V, but yeah, I can't describe how grateful I am to have him. And then he keeps things light and loose, and I need that a little bit because I tend to take things a little seriously. But nothing but great things to say about Vito. And like I said at the very start, I'd be here all day if I'm talking about my family. Vito's considered family, so we'd be here for quite a while if I kept talking about him.
Dude, yes, sir. Well, he's basically a cousin at this point, because everybody who's Italian from New York, even if you're not blood related, you turn into a cousin.
That's right. That's right. No doubt about that.
Just that in general, and just the way that he was there for you, and you have all these different people in your life, and this is exactly why I said that 2021 put you on that next level for so many good reasons. Like you said, a blessing in disguise. So 2022 rolls around, and here you go, setting goals, making the futures game. That's something that you wanted to do. You did it. And then at the end of the year, you get traded from the Phillies over to the Angels, and then boom, you get the call.
I can say it now because it happened. I'm super careful on who I tell my goals to. I try to keep a lot of them internal because one, I just don't want other people to hear about or hear me talking about myself, and two, I feel like the more private you keep them, then the more pressure I could have just with myself on it. I don't want to feel pressure that from other people. Luckily, the people that I surround myself with don't put pressure on me, and if they do, then I don't think they'll hang around for too long. But it was a goal of mine to answer the question, and yeah, I'm just grateful that I got it done. But I couldn't have done it alone, and people like Vito and my parents and Kevin and all those guys, they've helped me get there. So super grateful for it. And like you said, it was kind of crazy how it all kind of progressed and developed from 2019 in Australia to 2020, 2021, and then last year. So just looking to keep building, man. That's the approach for this year.
2019 in Australia, you said that was the only year that you were not at the Christmas Adam, but looked like you were having fun out there going off the rocks.
Yeah, it was a good time on Christmas. We went cliff jumping and we had a fun group out there, man. That was probably the time when we talk about growing up. I'm talking about off the field. That's probably when I grew up the most because I was really on my own for the first time. It wasn't just a plane flight away, and taught me a lot and really learned how to live on my own because I was alone in 2019 in Williamsport. But again, it's a 4-hour drive and you can see your parents whenever. So learned how to really live on my own and grow up a bit, and then built that foundation, and then I kind of kept going from there.
And you got the hops like the kangaroo out there. I saw that one video that was posted. Dude, I don't even know how high that was. That looked nuts when you tagged the dude out at home.
I remember that play. Credit to Belding. We do a lot of box jumps and single leg stuff in the off season. So that's working out.
Yeah, Belding and channeling your inner kangaroo. But yeah, your family, everybody was there for the debut. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a year and 3 days after your father's final chemo treatment.
It was a year and 3 days from one of his cycles of chemo, and yeah, just incredible that he was there with now a full head of hair and strong and healthy, and I'm grateful that they were all there, man.
Dude, yeah, and your mom took home a baseball from your first at bat. I love the interview that they did during the game on TV. I think it was so cool just seeing the smiles and the joy in their eye, and you could just tell that they're just so much fun and they were just loving life.
Yeah,
it was awesome. I'm like looking away from the screen, just thinking about how cool it must have been for them.
yeah, thank you. I think I get that from them because they taught my sister and I when I was younger. If you achieve something you set out to do, make sure you enjoy it, and I know they did that night, and that was a special night for everyone. So I'm happy they were there.
And your first hit came against the Oakland A's. Again, smiling at the plate, smiling at first base with my boy Steven Vogt, who's also going to be on this show. I was just actually texting with him today. So it's funny that we're doing this, but
Awesome.
Is that how you envisioned the big league debut going for you?
I didn't have a lot of expectations as far as how I played, to be honest. I was more just in shock that I was playing. I didn't really think about how I would play. Obviously, you get the anxiety and you're like, all right, I hope this goes well. But I had played those moments in my head for so long that it felt like I was just doing it again. And that's not to discredit the moment because it was it was a moment I'll never forget. And it was, the top moment of my life. But, yeah, man, it's not how I envisioned it. It was how I hoped. Obviously, I just wanted a hard hit that was clean somewhere. But, um, yeah, that wasn't. I didn't really have a vision of it, but I think looking back, that's how I would have wanted to envision it, how it went.
Amazing. I love too that you're going into that, like the visualization, the mental aspect of it. Like you've been there before, so I'm sure that helped calm the nerves. And having a dude like Stephen Vogt at first base greet you. What do you say to you? Do you remember?
He was incredible. He looked at me. He's like, "So this is easy, huh?" And I laughed. And he was congratulating me and being really great to me. And I know he doesn't have to do that. He's played so long up there, and obviously, as a young player coming up, you look up to a guy like that, especially him being a catcher. And um, yeah, his name will stick with me for a while because he was really kind to me when he didn't need to be, and I really appreciated that. So hopefully our paths will cross down the road where I can thank him for it. And how about that moment he had too in his last at bat? And it was
Oh,
against us, but
woo.
as a fan, it was pretty wild to see. So um, yeah, he's a great dude.
Yeah, no, that final at bat that he had was just insane. One time he was telling me, he was like, the thing about baseball is that it's a kid's game for 4 hours. The other 20 hours of the day, it's a business.
Yeah,
So you have fun for those 4 hours. Outside of that, it's like it's just a bunch of people deciding where you go, where you play. And again, you had gotten traded after spending all your time in the Phillies organization to the Angels, which opened up a big door for you. I guess kind of the final thing that I want to talk about, you're also using your platform for the greater good. And one of those was with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, which longtime listener Kayla, who's probably listening and watching this right now, she raised money for them when we did the Chicago Marathon. So that's how I found about it. But all season long, for every home run that you hit, you're raising, what was it, $25, right? And you happen to hit the most home runs ever of your career. So that was awesome that you got involved with them. And then, like, yeah, go figure. You're just hitting bombs left and right. Let's go, baby.
yeah, it worked out pretty well. And Alex's Lemonade was a group I wanted to work with. Did a lot of research into who, because I knew I wanted to do something. I had mentioned why, between Dad and my buddy Corey Phelan, um, but yeah, I mean they've been great, and they were super supportive. Alex's Lemonade, that is. And I'm happy it worked out pretty well. And I feel like, I mean, it wasn't on my mind in the box. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't pressing for home runs to raise the money, but it was definitely, we talk about celebrating moments, and I felt like I was able to celebrate each home run when I would update, the pledges or how much we raised. So it definitely was a bright light for me during the year.
Oh yeah, so awesome! You raised over $20,000, not just yourself, but a lot of people who had donated. So yeah, I'm sure you're gonna keep on doing more of that type of stuff. And if you could have a home run song every time you hit a home run, because obviously they feel great, but also too when you know it's going towards something good. What home run song would you like to be played while rounding the bases? I think baseball should do this. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one. Ah,
If I'm ever commissioner, that's going to be the first thing I do. I'm going to make sure that everybody picks a song, not just a walk-up song. I want a song playing as you're rounding the bases.
yeah, I know I'm gonna think of one later and be kicking myself for why I didn't say this one. Um, but yeah, I'm stuck, man. There's so many different ways I can go with this, so I really can't tell you, to be honest. I'm stuck.
Yeah, I couldn't ask Jose the other night because he doesn't hit. But I was thinking about the other night as you're talking about. I was like, man, this would be freaking cool.
Yeah,
Hell,
I'm thinking about some walk up songs this year, but not after I hit any homers.
there you go. All right. Well, part two, when we do this, we'll do that. And there is another company too that you had worked with, which was White Flag, which goes towards mental health.
Yes, yeah. I got involved with White Flag through another one of my really close friends who I consider family, Dave Kubiak, and he worked closely with them and just linked up, and it was something that I believed in, and I know that people go through a lot, and um, obviously, I as a baseball player, you go through ups and downs mentally too, and White Flag, they have all the things that I believe in and want to promote and support. So, yeah, it's been cool working for them, and love the idea of what they're doing, and I think it's got a lot of potential to help a lot of people, and like it already has. So I know they're doing a lot of good things, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Another one too, which this is much earlier than that, but catcher's equipment. When you had linked up with All Star, that was always kind of a dream partnership with a brand that was so cool that crossed your plate because that's something that you'd always worn as a kid. But setting goals now, what is one company who you'd love to partner with, whether it's like a clothing company? I know you're super pumped when you got your first big league card. Like whether it's something like that, like I did this with Demir Garrett, and we had sunflower seeds companies reaching out to us after we after we
Okay.
recorded. So it could be something like that too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to hit on All Star real quick, they've been great. I was just texting Stan today, and um, I I had mentioned to Adam Groff, my agent, when stuff was going on and different companies were coming to the surface. I always value relationships over any dollar amount um, or anything that's portrayed to the public. And All Star and even the guys at Adidas and White Flag, whoever it may be, they've all been great, and I feel like I have good relationships with those people, and I value that, like I said, more than anything else. So um, super happy that I have them. And then as far as another company goes, again, I'm gonna be kicking myself thinking of another one later, but did just talk to the guys at Liquid IV, so I know I'm big on
Ooh.
hydration, and so they sent me a little care package that I'll be getting here pretty soon. Um, so yeah, either them or, I mean, obviously I'm wearing the greatness win stuff too. I'm been a huge fan of Derek Jeter and love what him and Wayne Gretzky are doing. So and love their stuff obviously. So those are the two that I want to work with the most.
Dude, I love it. Yo, Liquid IV, what's your go-to flavor? I love the watermelon.
Watermelon's good. I do like the lemon lime is pretty good too. But I know I'm getting some new ones in the mail here pretty soon, so I may have a new answer for you in the next couple weeks.
There we go. And to again wrap it up before we go into the bonus content, there's been a big league coach who calls you Twitter machine, mainly because of the highlights and all the other things that you got going on in the baseball world. But and when I think about you as a Twitter machine, I think about the one post that you had where you said that like your parents say that they don't know what they would do without you and your sister. And then you're like, but it looks like they're doing just fine without us. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you posted 4 pictures of them just having like the time of their life by themselves.
Yeah, man, they have a blast with the empty nest. I think that now I mean, they missed us. Don't get me wrong when we're away, but I think they enjoy it, man. They live life to the fullest, and they do a lot of fun things. And yeah, they're two people I look up to, and I can only hope that when when I meet my wife one day, that my relationship could be as happy as theirs.
Hey, they might tell your sister to go stay with you down in Arizona after after she graduates ECU if they have that much fun. They watch they take all these family trips without them. Guys, have fun. We're actually
Yeah, yeah.
downsizing. We're going to an apartment. Good luck.
Seriously, seriously. So, but Mel did just graduate, so congratulations, sir. I know that was a huge accomplishment, and something she's been working her butt off to achieve. But to your point, I was going through. I mean, I was on Long Island, obviously a couple weeks ago, and went to family friends basketball game, and someone came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I heard Mel's coming to live with you next year," and I was like, sounds good to me. So I think that's the plan right
She's
now. That
making the
she's gonna
plans.
come hang out with me wherever I am. Yeah, she's making plans, and I'm sure mom and dad aren't holding her back by doing that either. So, um, but no, it should be fun, and they have a great time.
Next thing you know, there'll be a new dog in the mix too. Which, when it comes to all the social media stuff, and this is a good social media note to end on, where you're having a catch with your mom on Mother's Day.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all she wants. Mother.
dude. Yeah, and she had
That's all
tweeted
she
it, how
wanted.
happy she was.
Yeah, that's a great moment, and those are moments that keep you sane through the year. And yeah, that's all mom wanted for Mother's Day was to have a catch on the field. So we made it happen.
The little things, I love it. All right, so for everybody who's listening and watching our episode right now, I want everybody to be able to follow you along on social media, keep up with everything that you're doing, all your posts. So where can everybody to go to follow you? And also too, if you are still working with any of the foundations or anything that you want people to keep an eye out or to possibly donate to, where can they go and how can they help?
Yes. So social media on Instagram and Twitter, it's both Logan underscore OHOPPE. That's where you can find me. And yeah, as far as the foundation stuff, we're working on a few things this year. I do think that there's going to be another home run campaign. And I will be talking to Alex's Lemonade Stand, but also this isn't confirmed yet, but it all will be in hopefully the next month or so. Corey's Promise, which is the foundation that was built in honor of the Corey Fallon, my buddy who passed away from leukemia in October, and his family got that going, and I want to support that quite a bit, and it's something I feel more than passionately about. So again, the details are coming, and it's all in the works, but yeah, that's what we'll be going forward.
Awesome, man. You are a good dude, and any way that I could help, I definitely will. Anybody who's listening to this hopefully will as well. But dude, we appreciate your time, man. You're so grateful with it. Your character's awesome. Your story's awesome. And it's just going to keep on getting better and better. So, dude, thank you, Logan, for hopping on. Keep swinging, brother.
Can't thank you enough for having me, man. I appreciate it.